I recently went to the library and I got these 3 books that I have fallen in love with, and I wanted to share a little something about each of them because they're all 3 related to mindfulness, movement, and creativity. And the very first one that I'm going to share is called Slow Living, and it's a book by Helena Woods. And in this, I opened up the very first time I opened this book, I found this quote, and this quote says, "The miracle is not to walk on water. The miracle is to walk on the green earth, dwelling deeply in the present moment and feeling truly alive." And that's a quote by Thich Nhat Hanh. I love that. So the miracle is to truly walk on the green earth right here, right now, and feel alive. If that doesn't say mindfulness, I don't know what does. So paying attention to this moment is always something that I try to come back to when I am feeling upset, feeling sad, feeling anxious. And this book speaks to such beauty as far as how to live a simple life and come back through mindfulness to the here and now. And I love this page also, which talks about an easier way to dance with life. So instead of grasping for specific outcomes to be happy, our priorities must be to embody our values, the feelings we most desire. So much of our life is outside of our control. There are only principles at play, planets in orbit, puzzle pieces hidden. And to pretend that we're in total control of all the principles at play is a waste of our precious energy. There's a certain beauty and humility in the wonders of life, and that there's so much that we don't know yet. And it goes down here. So instead of measuring results, we can measure how aligned our values are with our daily choices. To live in alignment with your values is to flow with a natural current downstream. There's no effort, no resentment, no frustration, no bitterness, because you're dancing with life. Ooh, I love that. So this book I highly recommend. It's just a breath of fresh air in a life that feels very busy. The next one, as Young Pueblo, Lighter. I follow Young Pueblo on Instagram and online, and always an inspiration. And he has a whole section on letting go, which I absolutely align with, and that's part of my book as well, is letting go. And he talks about in his journey with sadness, his own struggle with sadness would come up repeatedly. It was a common reaction to difficult situations, and sometimes it would appear without cause. When he was writing his first book, he would get hit randomly by a great amount of melancholy that would sometimes stretch for days. So later on, he recognized that each time sadness was arising with him, his mind was just cleaning itself out. Sticking to meditating through that time helped him more through the process of all that stagnant sadness that had been sitting in his subconscious since childhood. Whether in daily life or while in meditation, it becomes something he had to face for years. So it's not necessarily that we don't have emotions when we're mindful. We have to sit with them, and they're part of us. It's part of that radical acceptance. The shift came gradually over time. When the sadness would appear, when he would feel its weight, he would offer it acceptance. Over time, its heaviness lifted. He still feels sad occasionally, but not with the same overwhelming force as before. So just accepting the sadness as part of it, that it's not something to dismiss, to push away, to think that it is unimportant or you don't want it. Sometimes we want to push it away so quickly, but I love how Young Pueblo talked about just truly sitting with it, accepting it, and its intensity decreased over time. As a counselor, yes, yes, yes. And then the last book I wanted to share with you is Ichigo, Ichie. So the book of Ichigo, Ichie, and it's by Héctor García and Francisco Miralles. And so the concept of Ichigo, Ichie is a Japanese concept that right here, right now, we will never have another moment like this. This is Ichigo Ichie. This is the moment to live. So I love that. Oh, there's a ladybug on my arm. Hello, lady. Hi. Hi, baby. Okay. So in this book, I'm going to open up and just read a page. So, and you, where do you live? People who are able to lead a long, meaningful life usually have two characteristics. They are aware of their mission and they know how to enjoy every moment. For them, the present moment is a permanent opportunity to experience Ichigo Ichie. However, if we look at the people around us or at ourselves, we'll see that it's often difficult to stay in the present. Our thoughts wander in all directions, and it's hard to keep them focused on where we are now, on what we're doing now, and whom we're with right now. If you're alone, the person you're with is yourself. So, and it goes on to talk about 4 basic emotions in time. So, emotions such as anger, such as sadness, such as fear, and such as happiness. And how those 4 basic emotions we've all had, we've all experienced, and only happiness belongs to the present and is the home of Ichigo Ichie, precisely because we know it is happening only right now, not before or after. We celebrate it by fully giving ourselves over to savoring the moment. And so they talk about how anger is often stuck when we're stuck in the past, sadness is when we're stuck in the past, fear is about the future, and happiness is about this moment, right here, right now. So I love that. And it goes on to ask, how present are you right now? And how are you savoring this moment? And going back to what young Pueblo said, sometimes it's not always savoring. It's not always a delicious moment. Sometimes it's a moment full of heaviness, and savoring the fact that I always come back to this as a therapist too, is that sometimes savoring this moment is recognizing how thankful I am to have the full range of emotions, to have the full range of heartfelt compassion towards people who are going through some very hard things. And if it's myself, then heartfelt compassion towards myself for going through very hard things. So I really love that concept of remembering that right here, right now, nothing is ever going to be the same. That helps my heart with the temporary impermanence of right now, but it also helps my heart with recognizing how precious right now is too. So if you're interested in these books, I highly recommend them. They're at local libraries, and just wanted to come on here and speak to kind of a slower way of living, a slower way of thinking, and a slower way of experiencing life to its fullest. And through mindfulness, through creativity, through really paying attention and noticing, I think it's such a beautiful way to help us with our mental health. It's such a beautiful way to help us lead a life that we feel more proud of without regrets. So take care. I wish you all the best.